Oh yeah, I got the countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time to have some very serious fun tonight. Welcome to the GG Factor, man. We're all the way live on this being the very first Tuesday of the month of March. Something for you to think about. I don't know, man. I got a special guest tonight. I'm sure he's going to make you think about what I'm wearing tonight. He's a faith-based guy, and I love him, man. I've known him for over a decade now, and met his son the other night. And let me tell you something, Jerry's in the house. How you doing, big man? How you be?
Man, doing great, man. Great to be with you, Greg, man.
Well, you know, it's my pleasure, man. It's my pleasure. I reminisce to how you and I connected, and I always call it a God incident. And I think his name is Val, man. The keyboard player, Val, connected you and I, and the rest is history. So tonight, ladies and gentlemen, you know, he's the chief ministry officer, man, for ACSI. And with that happening, I'm going to stop the music and make it official tonight so people can hear us and understand what we're talking about. Man, this is a faith-based brother right here. This guy wakes up every day in the name of the Lord doing his work in the Christian community. And I love that about you. And I told him tonight, I'm going to wear this hat to kick the show off because I don't typically do that. Let me go live over here on this realm also. So, well, if you're just joining me, I want to make it official and say, hey, welcome to the GG Factor tonight over there on IG. I got you guys going on Facebook and YouTube tonight. We have an internationally, globally known entrepreneur, faith-based guy. His name is Jerry Nelson. The Association for Christian Schools International, ACSI, is where he's housed right now. And he's also a great musician friend of mine. And I just tell you, you know, meeting you, man, meeting your sons the other night, it's a pleasure. Jerry, how you doing tonight?
Man, doing great, man. Just great to be here and just enjoying life and just truly blessed, man. Truly blessed.
Well, you know, we woke up today, and I always say yesterday could have been the last day. That's true. And every day in this realm is a new beginning. I tell people that, you know, you quit thinking that you're in control.
That's right.
You understand that there's always this place where hope and change will always bring about something that you can rearrange. Yeah. And if you just live a life of less distractions and keep what my hat say first, that's why I started the show tonight. I would typically get into a place in this segment where it would be something about the spirit in us, and I'll put the hat on. But tonight, my brother, you got the floor. It's wide open. It's on you. And I want everyone to know that's listening to me tonight that Jerry Nelson, man, is almost, I have to say this without a doubt. It appears most of your entire adult life has been dedicated to finding people who want to find and activate that true spiritual base in themselves. Am I correct about that?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's one of the beautiful things about education. And you know when I got into education, a lot of times you think it's just about the kids, but it's really about the whole family experience. And so, you know, as kids are transformed, you have an opportunity to see parents' lives are transformed. You know, and that's not all the parents, but you know, I would tell you most of the parents I got in contact with, I mean, you do right by their children. There's a trickle up, trickle down, trickle out, you know, effect. And so, yeah, it's been a great experience. So love helping people reach their goals and reach their potential.
But I tell you what, I'm going to make it official because I don't want to jump ahead of the gun about anything. That comes to why one of my main questions, all of my guests are always ask this question to activate the whole process, that we're here to inspire you and empower you by the way of what this gentleman has done. It's like, what is your why, Jerry Nelson? Why should I say ACSI? Why, as we're going to also talk about EMG, which is Element Music Group. And my apologies, man. I was out there making a tape. I call it the Elements of Sound. I said, what the hell are you talking about, man?
It's all good.
And I said, I can't change it. It's gone. It's all the way live out there. But Element Music Group, he's the CEO. I met him through Audio Sound. He's just, a couple of weeks ago, you helped me out once again. My Valentine's Gala there. So what is your why? Tell the audience right now. I'm going to sip my tea and shut up. And, hey, the floor is yours. Let us know what's up, man.
Yeah, I mean, my why straight up is we have a family mission statement, and we taught our kids. We actually developed it together several years ago, many years ago when the kids were much younger. But our mission, our family mission statement, is to honor Christ by spending time together, serving one another, being good stewards, and helping those in need. And we also have a vision statement as well as a family. And I won't go into it, but basically our vision statement says that we're world changers. World change begins with mind, body, soul, and spirit submitted to Jesus. In him, I guess I'm quoting it now, in him we find our true identity and our ultimate purpose. He's equipped us with gifts to advance his kingdom through the communication of the gospel and the training of disciples. So making disciples so that the mission lasts beyond us. And then it ends with whatever man thinks, so is he. So we really try and focus as a family on keeping things focused on what's most important. But I really try and teach the kids I really help each one of my kids to find their gifts and to sow into their gifts. It's in our family. It's about this dual thing of you got to be able to stand on your own 2 feet because we don't know what life is going to throw at us, but we work together. So it's that dual thing, and there's that tension there always, and it's a good tension. But God's been really, really good to us. I mean, I journal quite a bit, and I thank God for my kids. They really love the Lord. They love each other, and they love their parents, and we do feel that on a regular basis. So we're truly blessed.
Wow. I have to interject here, man. We need more people like you. I say that with deep, deep respect. You say something about mind, body, and spirit, and I'm a mind, body, and spirit guy. Every week when I come on my show, every week when I do my master class, I tell people that I've been on this mantra for the last 10 or 15 years of my life since I started writing books. And the first book was done back in 2007 or 8, and I'm releasing both of them as though they've never been released now. And my concept is this, and I know if more people do what you're doing, what I'm doing, there will be a paradigm shift in the humanitarian cause. People will be healthier. We are in a very fragile time right now, Mr. Nelson. And I want to say this to you, Jared. We know that if we don't anchor ourselves from the inside out, that the world out there, the external world, the pavement that we're stepping on is so fragile. You don't know where you're going to step and fall through into something that's totally false, totally antichrist, totally, in a place where it's just dark. It's just not working out here. And unfortunately, we're even in the existing administration around here that's always talk a lot about politics, but I cannot ignore the fact that, look, we just went to war, my man. We just literally went to war. And one of the countries is one of the most faith-based countries in the world supporting this. And I'm not going to say that it's a contradiction, but I'm going to say it creates a how should I say, a case study on what's truly right. Who has the right to say what's right? Was it right to do this or not to do this? And then somebody's son or daughter just lost their life for this cause. And see, I'm going to tell you something, Jerry, and I'm going to go deep about this right now. I'm not an advocate of guns. I never have been. I never owned one. I never will own one. The time that I had access to one was almost a detriment to me and somebody else when I was a young kid out there in this world. Actually, I was a young adult. I was a young kid, and then I was a young adult. 2 times in my life when I had access to weapons, when I knew it could have been the end for me or that other person. And from that moment in my life, man, I say, you know what? And you do know that domestic violence, guns are the #1 killer. Other than heart disease. So for people who can say, I'm going to anchor myself in Psalm 91 every day, I'm going to wake up and say, he who dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty, my brother. I wear this hat and I read religiously because I would not walk out my door if I don't say that Psalm 91. I'm not going to go through it all, but I know it all. With long life will I satisfy you and shew you my salvation to the last verse, which I'm sure I know you know. And the bottom line is this, man. We need more of what you're doing. I applaud you. And I got to ask you a question that this is my ignorance, because once again, when my brother sent me this killer bio here, and I read it, Jerry Nelson, Chief Ministry Officer, ASCI, he oversees all spiritual formation. And that's That's a deep cap to put on your head and wear every day. He oversees all spiritual formation, related initiatives, and everything focused on the elevation of God's word. And one of my questions to you was that you said that there's a biblical world development that you're dealing with. And I said to myself, now that's kind of loaded. He needs to kind of, this biblical world development that he's doing this thing, and he's initializing something from a global perspective. You're down in Miami, right? Yeah, but you said your ACSI is global. I need to know, how's that outreach? Talk to me about that, because you put international. Where's your reach? Where are the tentacles? Where are they going to beyond your home base?
Yeah, great question. So I'll talk about ACSI, Association of Christian Schools International, and
Yes.
also about my role. So ACSI, we serve nearly 5.5 million kids around the world. We have 18 offices around the world on 5 of 7 continents. Of course, there's nothing on
Hold
Antarctica.
on, wait a minute. Hold it. Hey, I don't think y'all can't see Jerry, but did you say 5.5 million kids?
5.5 million kids around the world that we know of. So
Wow.
yeah, 5.5
Once
million kids.
again, and now, as Paul Harvey would say, you get the real story. You get the whole story. I'm sitting here talking to an international entrepreneurial icon, man, and I met him just as a guy providing me with some audio, which we're going to talk about in the second segment of this, not realizing this man has a master's degree in ed leadership. And now that you're mentioning that and saying what you're saying, and your global reach is that far. So the etiologies of this ACSI movement, when did it start? Who started it? Where did it come from, to the point that you're telling me 7 or 8 countries, 5.5 million people? My brother, my cap is off to you tonight. I'm speaking truth to you. I'm speaking truth. That's serious, man. That's a major accomplishment. How did that even start? Seriously, the word is this: the etiologies. What's the origins of this? Who started it? Where did it start? How did it become as huge as it is?
Yeah, so it started in 1978, and it was a result of 3 regional Christian school areas. So one up in the northwest, one out west in California, and then there was a third. It's slipping my mind, but there was 3 regional associations that got together, and the tagline of ACSI is "Stronger Together." And so that's really lived on. So we are a membership organization, and membership looks very different across the world. But here in the States, we have 2,300 schools within our membership. So that's schools that we serve within, and we do accreditation, we do publication, we do professional development. We have an online learning platform, so learning management system. We do legal and advocacy work. So we have folks in Washington, D.C. Who go to the Hill on a regular basis.
So you got your lobbyists, you got people representing you on the big on the big hill, on the big top. So listen, you're man. You know something, my brother? I'm going to speak truth to you right now. First and foremost, through enough research, but not enough. Are you K through 12 or K through college? K through what's the range of your educational services?
Yeah, so we serve K through college. Now,
Okay.
since we're an ed organization, what we do is we accredit colleges education program. So actually early ed, K through 12, and then, like, for instance, we're developing relationships with colleges all the time, because colleges want our K through 12 school students to go to their school. So we have so it's both accreditation, but we also have our partnerships, and it's largely Christian universities, some of the largest ones. So like Grand Canyon University out in Arizona, we have a solid relationship with Dallas Baptist. We have about 65, 70 colleges, and it's usually Christian colleges and universities around the country. And then also, that's just here in the States. We also have relationships with colleges in other parts of the world.
This is very, very interesting, Jerry. I'm speaking truth to you tonight that,
Mhm.
you're invited to the GG Factor to inspire and empower people. You're inspiring and empowering me. You're telling me that the movement from a Christian perspective, excuse me, is huge,
Yeah,
and especially in our youth. That now. So this is all private educational based, the facilitation of these services, right? It's all private.
correct. Yeah, it's
You
private. It's private
Is it
schools.
nonprofit? It's also private, nonprofit based.
Yeah, private, nonprofit.
Mhm.
And one other thing that I wanted to mention
Yes.
is we also have our own scholarship granting organization. So with a lot of the school choice that's taken place, I mean, it's really exploded. It's huge here in Florida, but it's really exploded across the nation. So we operate now officially in 5 states, and then we're making a huge push as the federal tax opens up. But also, each state has their own scholarship or voucher program, and we
Mhm.
operate in those states. So we assist parents who want want another option. Maybe they're in an area where the public school isn't a good fit for their child. What we want to do is say, hey, you got options, and here are the options here, and we can help you
Wow.
find a school. Hmm.
Very nice. Listen, question for you. What is, like, say you're in school where you're over down in Miami. What's the population of these schools in terms of enrollment? What numbers are you looking at?
It can really vary. I mean, after COVID, what happened is, it a lot of parents they wanted to pull their kids out of public school, and again, I always want to make clear I'm not anti-public school. I think public school serves a vital role, within our community.
No doubt.
But a lot of parents were looking for different types of options. They didn't like what they saw in some of the schools, and I'm not saying that's the right reason to leave, but that's their
Mhm.
choice. So we serve homeschools, we serve homeschool cohorts as well, and then you can have schools. A new term surface called micro schools that began to surface. So you'll have schools that have 10 to 25, kind of like your one room schoolhouse. But we have schools that are the largest school in our association. Um, Basically operates like a school district. Because actually here in South Florida, they have, I want to say, they're pushing about 4,000, and they're on 4 different campuses.
Wow.
Yeah, so we have very, very large schools, what we call large, well-resourced schools that will really rival some of your independent, non-sectarian schools. Like the schools that are, down there off Brickell and Coral Gables,
Yeah.
schools like that. In terms of the amount of resources, they rival those types of schools. And then we have schools that are in very depressed areas.
In rural
Um,
areas.
yeah, in rural areas, or they're in inner city areas, and they're all doing great work. So we're very careful about saying, well, what does it mean to be a flourishing school? Does that mean that you're big and you have a lot of money? No, the factor is, do you have teachers who are qualified, and are the kids growing? And that's
Yes.
how we determine whether a school is flourishing. So we have schools of 150, man, and they're knocking it out of the park. The kids are seeing gains of 2 reading grade levels, coming back in terms of grade level when they entered the school, 2 grade level reading levels below. So it's really cool to
Yeah.
watch and just see kids thrive. Yeah.
Yes, man. I'm sitting here and I'm taking it all in. Obviously, for those of you, and I'm a retired teacher of 31 years, exceptional student education.
Hmm.
So that is why I said to you when you and I were just talking prior to airing live that we have so much in common
Yeah.
that we have just totally never even addressed until this conversation.
Yeah.
We literally have never ever addressed your background outside of the fact that you and I met through entrepreneurial work as people in the entertainment industry. And like I said, through a keyboard player that I bought that PreSonus board, and he told me that you had one, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
He came on a gig with me. He saw it. He said, "Oh man, that's a great board. It sounds great." And you know, Jerry, I said, "No, what?" He said, "No, man, he's a master with these boards, and he can help you." And the rest is history. With Jerry, my point is, you little whippersnapper, you got all this stuff going on, little buddy. Nobody knows about it but you. But I'm telling all my people, man, who are watching us live tonight, this man is on a move that's going to be a paradigm shift. See, there's a unique cohort when we put the word faith-based in front of it. Game changer.
Yeah.
Game changer. And let me tell you something. And I met your son. You know, I rented some equipment from you. Your son came by to pick the equipment up here. And he and I had such a very empowering and inspiring conversation about his aspirations, where he wants to go, how he wants to get there, the roadmap that's set for him. And I said, boy, this apple ain't falling far from the tree. I said, Mr. Nelson has really landed this kid right. I have 2 sons and a granddaughter. Both of them are college graduates. People tell me that all the time. Greg Jr. And Jonathan Gregory Griffith, who just turned 36 years old Friday night. And to sit there looking at him across the table and realizing I could just reminisce to 20 years ago, he was at Flanagan High School with me. I was coaching him in cross country. He hated it, didn't want to do it. But I said, you'll thank me later. And guess what? He just ran the New York City Marathon.
Wow,
He just went to Chicago and ran a marathon. He's training out him. And guess what? His college sweetheart wife, who just got a residency as a doctor, shout out to Adriana and my son, Jonathan. They're training for the New York City Marathon.
Let's go.
20 years ago, I was training for it.
Yeah.
At the age of 50. And I tell people, when I prepped everything that you and I are discussing tonight, and you were giving me your etiologies, and you were saying you're a mind, body, and soul-based organization. We are mind, body, and spirit. We have to work in concert with that. You never totally get the balance, but a lot of people will go so far out of balance, they live with this comfort zone of imbalance, and it becomes this organized chaos. And you know something, Jerry? That's why I applaud you, because what you're doing, you're setting up a paradigm shift right now for parents, for people to understand that, you see, in Broward County alone, right here where we live, let me tell you something. 1 million people, man, went to the hospital sick last year in Broward County. I'm sure it's 2 or 3 times that in New York City, Chicago, LA, Houston, Dallas, Atlanta, you know, and when you go into getting into micromanage what's going on, man, and you realize that there's this blatant apathy about the mind, body, and spirit concept that people just, if they look good and the job okay, and they're not spending no time with themselves spiritually, out of balance. Out of balance.
Absolutely.
It's going to sneak up on them, man. And the fact that talking to your son is the core reason why I'm bringing this up. Boy, your son seems so grounded, bro. You know, and I'm using sport as a high jumper. I was like, I had to lean in like this and say, you do what? You know? So, hey, my point to you is just, man, I applaud you, man. I'm so honored that you would be here on the show tonight to share with our viewers and listeners, and that this episode will be archived for some time, that people can go back and see that you're doing a great thing in this country. And we spoke about it earlier because of the temperament that we're living with right now, the fragility of things. It's just a very scary time, man. And sitting there looking across the table at my son, man, knowing that where he was 20 years ago, bro, I tell you the truth, man, and look up and say, wow, this kid been out of college 10 years now. This kid got a great job in cybersecurity. You know, living in a beautiful condo over on the beach with his beautiful young wife. And I met her at the graduation dinner. Imagine your kid graduate college and walk in with somebody you never met, and they sit next to you, and you say, okay, what's up with that, Jonathan? And look, 10 years later, they're married. She just started her practice in residency.
That's awesome.
So that's why I say, man, we have a job. I applaud you for what you're doing. I ask you this also: are you an ordained minister at all? Have you ordained yourself in that arena?
So there's a funny story around that, and the short of it is I got asked like 4 or 5 times by folks at my church. So this is a church I grew up in,
Right.
that they wanted to ordain me, and I said, man, I don't want to have anything to do with being a pastor. I'm just like, that is, I don't have anything to do with it. But the interesting thing is there are 3 questions that I usually get when I talk to people. It really kind of depends on the setting. But usually I get all the time, it's like, are you a football player? I usually get that all the time. Like
I know why you're saying that, because, ladies and gentlemen, he's sitting in the chair right now. What are you 6'4", 240? What are you about?
6'5", yeah.
You 6'5" and 2 what?
Yeah, a whole lot.
See that? And you know what, man? And you're right. The day you walked in my home and I had my board set up right there, I said, man, this is a big brother. And I asked you did you play football?
Yeah, so I played high school football, but I was a 3-sport athlete. So I ended up playing baseball. So and I played basketball. So I played all types of sports. So yeah. So yeah, I usually get So I usually get the question of, whether I play football. But it's usually the next question is, are you a pastor?
Yeah.
And I would say, no, I'm not. But when I became head of school, I became head of school at a very young age. So I was my pastor put me in charge of the school at 25 years old.
Wow.
I mean, yeah, so I was pretty young. And so we were a church school. So I then joined the church's senior leadership as the head of the school as well. So I spent all of that time really understanding what church ministry was like. A lot of times, my experience is, if you actually do church ministry right, you'll come out with a lot of scars and a lot of bruises in the process, but
yes.
People's lives will be changed in a positive way. Mm-hmm. And you can really, because dealing with people is a messy process. I would say on Mondays, after that's when the dump truck of people's problems will back up to the church step, and it all gets emptied out, and you spend all that time from Monday through Saturday dealing with folks' problems. So I would say I kind of ran away from it. And the irony is, my mentor in education is the one that asked me to do this job, to do the chief ministry officer job. And I looked at him, I was like, no, I don't want to do it. and the only reason, true story, the only reason that I did it is because it was him. So he was the only person that could get me to do the job. So I'm doing all of the work. So a big part of my role is I serve as the organization's chaplain. And that's that's a third of what I do. It's not the main thing that I do, but it's a big part of what I do.
You working in the capacity as a minister, man. I mean,
100%.
When I talked and I see, like, I was just in church Sunday, man, taking communion. I remember New Mount Olive Baptist over right off of Broward and 9th Avenue, and Reverend Dr. Marcus Davidson. Do you know him at all?
I don't know him personally, but I know the name.
Heavy brother. I'm just speaking truth to you. Oh boy, and we were so lifted Sunday. I just got to tell you, man. And he said, he spoke about being a spiritual ventriloquist. He said that. He said, I'm listening to the Lord, and then I go out and I'm his puppet and I speak for him. And man, and the metaphor and the way he used that, boy, Jerry, it was so powerful. But he's now his 15th or 16th year since Reverend Matt Carter took his transition.
Yeah.
And boy, the church, we just built brand new paid for facility.
Oh, praise God.
Right next door. So he's doing something right there. And I went back to my Baptist roots because, I went away to non-denominational, just still Bible-based, but just non-denominational for a long time, dealing with the world of, is there really this duality? And I finally had to capture my Baptist roots again and come back to the fact that, yep, there's God and yes, there's evil. Because in a lot of those non-faith-based places, but are just religious-based, they believe in just this place of uno being only God, and everything else is just somebody's extension. But that's absolutely not true, because we live out here, man, where if you don't get prayed up, you better shut up and go get in the trenches, because it's scary. It's very, very scary. It's in music now. It's in lifestyle management now. It's in a lot of stuff now. It's all up in politics now. It's a whole lot of stuff going on that people are just trying to understand. I say to people, like, when I put that hat on, and I did that for you tonight because of what we're discussing, you have to get prayed up, man. And I wasn't exaggerating. I don't care how late I'm running. I don't care what's going on in my life, Jerry. I stop and read that Psalm 91. I already know 23 in my head, and just quotes from the Bible that just inspire me. There are a lot of faith-based people out there. Tony Evans is one of my. If I don't go to church, I'm turning him on Sunday morning. If I don't go to church and sit in the pew, he's on. I like Joel Osteen. I like people who are doing what they're doing out here, out there in that world where we are. T.D. Jakes is still another one out. His daughter, Sarah Jakes, Roberts, man, let me tell you something. I tell people, and then there are people who are not faith-based, like Mel Robbins and Oprah Winfrey and Whoopi Goldberg, people who are just lately, Denzel Washington, to me personally, whether you're using an AI or whatever it is, if you just turn on YouTube and click some of that man's stuff and look, and you forget that you're listening to an actor who's made a deep dive into just a spiritual, religious transformation. And the information is very powerful. So that's why I say to you, man, when you're out there, you're a very unique cohort. When someone is in the arena of spiritual growth, and then you're there with the youth, and you're the facilitator under the umbrella of God, that is such a beautiful thing, man. And I'm applauding you tonight. I always ask that question so I can understand things about people when they start speaking religion, if they're ministers or not. But I don't know, man. From what you're doing and where you're at, I don't know, Jerry. I don't know. You're a young man still, man. I can see you being very, very powerful in that arena, and I applaud you, man. I want to just say once again to all of our viewers, I'm talking with the man himself, Jerry Nelson, Chief Ministry Officer there for ACSI, which is Association of Christian Schools International. He just disclosed to me 5.5 million kids around the world, 7 or 8 countries. 5 states here, but just a global organization that, you remind me, I was talking to, and I work with Andy Allen, who's the Southeast Region's director for Best Buddies. I would imagine you're familiar with Best Buddies. This is a school-based nonprofit, but they are so powerful. And when Andy told me that they are the largest nonprofit for developmental disabilities in kids, man, and adults, it's an incredible undertaking. And the way that she and I met, because I've been involved with Best Buddies, oh man, for and West Broward High School for the last 11 years, and even the last 5 years of me being there, the number one fundraiser, the number one Best Buddies organization in all of Broward County. And when I decided to leave the school system 3 years ago, and this is how God worked, I'm at Nova Southeastern University. I decided to come out and just do a free concert for them. Just give the kids a goodbye. Who's in the audience? Andy Allen. 6 months later, I'm the keynote speaker for them. Wow. That's what I tell people, man. If it's going to happen, and everybody shows up for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. You and I hadn't even been in touch for a minute. Look how we went full circle. And I probably had more communication with you in the last 4 weeks than in the last 4 years.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt, man. So one of my questions is this. Something in your literature said, you're here for the fulfillment of the I think it was the Great Commission. What's the stakeholders' mission? What's going on with that? That's a sort of a unique statement that you put there in your bio.
Yeah. So when my job description was written by our president, which has been my mentor for 20 years, I've been in Christian education. You know, a big part of my responsibility is because we are an association of schools. We're very clear on that Christian schools are not trying to be the church, but our responsibility is to basically you won't find this anywhere, but this is just kind of to explain it. We are to be like the cheerleaders for the church. So
Hmm.
so the church is called to fulfill the Great Commission, which is to
Hmm.
make disciples of all nations. And so when the Christian school is functioning well, the Christian school, in a sense, becomes the strong arm of the church.
Hmm.
So we actually we try and work with churches and encourage them. Hey, listen, start a Christian school. We have a platform or a program. We have guidance to help you start a Christian
Yes.
school, because if you and the way that we really explain it is, you know, even if a pastor's really on their game and they have membership locked in, they probably get maybe about 3 hours of good time with each congregant. But when they start a school now, and that school has arts, athletics, stuff before, now you're talking about you've increased your face time with the most malleable group.
Hmm.
You know, you've increased that by what, like 300% already. You know, with seven with 60 or 70 hours a week that you have with those kids. And so
Oh,
we
no,
try and
no.
yeah,
No
if
doubt. No doubt,
yeah,
man. Let me just interject and say this to you right now. Jerry, that's why I say I applaud you in the capacity that I do, because kids spend more time in the educational environment than they do with their parents. They
yeah,
spend more time away from home than they do in the home. And when
hmm,
someone's standing in front of them 7, 8 hours a day,
yeah,
that's impact. That's impact
hmm,
whether you like it or not. And me being a teacher 31 years, sometimes that impact is the best. And then, Jerry, let's face it, sometimes it's not. You know,
absolutely,
and we've seen
absolutely,
some cases where it's just, honestly speaking, man, you
yeah,
have to be very careful. And
yeah,
honestly, I worked in 3 different high schools as in the substance student education teacher, and I've seen pretty much the full gamut. You
yeah.
know,
And you know, Christian schools, you know, they aren't perfect, and we're very when you're dealing with human beings.
hello.
So, you know, we have all types of people who don't understand what Christian schools are about. We have people who've been in Christian schools for a long time, and they're mean as the devil. So, you know, we get it. We get it all over the place. But yeah, just that whole thing about elevating the Great Commission is just the mission of our association is to assist schools, and
Mhm.
really we want to see the people of God grow, and we want strong churches. That's
Mm.
what we desire. Hmm.
So using the term stakeholder, it's almost like stockholder to me. In another way, stakeholders
Hmm.
are people to me who have a vested interests. They want to see things be elevated from A to B and continue to move on. And another question I have for you regarding that is that I know you have a master's degree in air leadership. Have you only worked in Christian schools? Have you ever been a teacher in the classroom in the public school sector? Tell us a little bit more about how the evolution of you. I know you gave me your why, but how did you
Yeah.
evolve to this place? And interestingly enough, I was listening very clearly when you said that 25 years old, and that's almost 2 decades of your life that you've been in that arena. So has this always been the one? This has been your primary environment?
Yeah, it has. And you know, I think people who know me well enough know that I'm pretty stubborn in that when God wants to do something, you know, with me, he usually has to send people like 3 or 4 times and different people. So I hadn't even graduated college yet, and my pastor, he got a vision for um hiring former graduates to come and work in the school. And so I was visiting from college over the winter break, and he shared this vision with me. And what he didn't realize when he was asking me is that the Lord was already kind of working on me to think about what I was going to do next. So he stopped me um, after service, after the morning service, and he says, "Jerry, I want you to come back and teach at the school." Well, actually, he asked me. He said, "Jerry, what do you want to? What's your plan, your trajectory?" And I told him, I said, I can see myself being a college president one day, and I wanted to teach at the university level, BA in history. I love history. I love to read, love to learn. And he says, "I want you to come back and teach." And so my thought is it was only going to be 1 year. It's going to be like, going into the military or something like that. I do my 1 or 2 years and then I'm out. And, that turned into 17 years and
Wow.
of doing that. And it was a great experience because, even kind of looking back to, and I've known him since I was a kid. So
That's
he
great,
watched me
man.
grow. He watched me grow up.
Yes.
So for him to give me that
You were
opportunity,
anchored. He know that you're anchored in his spirit. He knew that you were anchored in the right thing. He knows like you said, man, your etiology. He knows your origins. He knew what you were made of. Was your father or mother anyone in the ministry at all?
yeah. So my dad's a minister, and my grandfather on my dad's side is a minister. So I
Wow.
from both
There,
sides, I come.
ladies and gentlemen, let me shut him up right now. Let me see here. You see, your dad a minister, your dad's dad a minister. So guess what? I'm not going to be surprised if I talk to you 10 years from now and something clicked, something happened. I'm not going to push in with that, but I'm just going to say, hey, man, but what, something that's wonderful, man. People ask me the same thing about, am I military? My biological father, who I didn't
That's
meet.
the other thing that I get is in my military too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, man. Didn't even meet my dad till 50. And when I realized his total life has been military, retired colonel, one of the first Army medics in Vietnam in a helicopter,
Wow.
the first chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi way back in the day, and went to the same high school I went to, had even the same band director who had been in that high school for 40 some years. My dad even had him as a trombone player, and I played trumpet for him.
That's
So,
crazy.
but people ask me all the time, "Greg, you got military background?" No, but when I finally met my dad, his persona, how he is, you can't stop genes, baby.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
spoke over his eulogy and utilized him at his funeral. And I just brought that up. That though I did not know him, he has still been anchored in who I am and him and my mom and what they've done for me. I'm just grateful, man, that my parents had a brief stunt, man. He goes away to the military. My mom comes up pregnant. The rest is history.
Yeah.
My biological father, Jerry, so adopted all of his children. I was his only kid that didn't even know exists. See, so
Wow.
that's something way off the line. We could talk about
Yeah.
after the show, but I'm here to tell you this. My point is, you can't stop fate.
Yeah.
Back to what I'm saying about you, my brother. That fate, IG, I'm gonna look over at IG and the camera and say, I think fate got Brother Nelson here to be Minister Nelson pretty soon. I'll put it out there because you're doing a great job, man. Not being facetious, I'm being very realistic. We
I
need
appreciate
more like you. What you're doing, I'm going to do an unconditional plug for the other part of my show. That every week I'm always asking people to realize that this show is geared around your empowerment, your being inspired, you being educated and elevated. And on Thursday nights, I've been doing my Strive Masterclass. We're doing a very, very deep dive in on relationships now. And I'm big on 30 days to a new you. I'm big on 30, 60, 90, that people should stop, take an evaluation of where they are. Maybe you need a coach. The links are right there on the screen here if you're watching us tonight. If not, you can go to theactivator.net for $97 a month. You come in, you get a copy of this book, or you can get a copy of my first book, Activator Stagnate. Either one of these books are available. And all I can say to you is this. I think my life experience is worthy of sharing, just like you, Mr. Nelson. Excuse me. I'm going to say that when you find people who have found a system, it sounds to me, my brother, like you got a blueprint. And I think I got one too. I'm not my horn or nothing. You know, at the end of the day, this is one of my 25 medals. I don't know too many people on the planet that can say they ran 25 marathons, and I did that as a full-time teacher. I did that as a head coach across country. I did that as a full-time musician and an entrepreneur. That same year I ran the marathon, I bought my first apartment building. I've owned millions of dollars in real estate. I've owned strip malls, condos, you know, still own an apartment building in Tampa. And what I'm saying to people is this. We also want to monetize our intellectual properties. Our IPs will keep us ahead of this, should I say, just very fragile economic situation in this country. Most people either got higher education, some education, and they're an entrepreneur, or they like I have been in all my life, both. And it sounds to me, Jerry, that you have spent most of your adult life totally in the same arena that I'm in. So we're going to shift gears now. I can't believe it, man. It's already been 30, 40 minutes. I looked up at the clock and said, I even mentioned nothing about my Thursday night classes or the fact that I'm only going to run those classes, man, maybe another week or two. I'm going to stop doing them free. I'm going to start taking a unique cohort of people who I can charge them other than more than $97 and bring them into my camp. But for the last year, I've been doing it. Next month will be a year that I've been doing this show, and I have enjoyed every single moment of it. It's been inspiring for me to realize that my voice matters, what I'm doing matters. That's why I offer this platform to people. But you, my friend, what we're talking about right now is everyone's got a system. And now that we're talking about systems, let's shift gears from the faith-based to the CEO base, the musician. Do you play an instrument, Jerry?
Yeah. So I'm a bass player. So
I can't remember that because I play bass. And now that you're telling me, bing, I do remember when you came in the house. I couldn't remember what instrument. I said, I know you play an instrument. You play bass. Wow.
Yeah.
That's my instrument, man. When I haven't had to play bass, I played a little live stuff. Most of the stuff we're doing is computerized now because of the technology that's out here. And to get a band like I had back in the day before I became a full-time musician, to practice every week, to get them to show up every week.
Expensive.
I mean, did you ever form bands? Did you ever play in bands?
Yeah. Had a band. We released we released an album in 2011. It was called The Elements of Jazz, and that was the name of the group as well. So self-titled. It's available on everywhere. So like your Spotify, your iTunes. So it's on there. So we released that in 2011, and then we've actually recorded tons of songs and written tons of music. Just we haven't released most of it over the last few years, just because my work in the education field grew, and then also I pivoted.
Same thing here, man. I told you, man, we got so much in common, man. It's amazing because the very thing happened to me too, Jerry. I got so wrapped up into, my music, and I went to go to a gig one night, and I always share with my audience, man. My agency supposed to book me at a new club. They had a roll band coming through, Jerry. And at that time, my wife at the time was on pregnancy leave. My son Jonathan was on a year-old. Next week came, I didn't have a job. And I said, that's it. I had went through that instability as a parent at a very young age. And I said, I won't do it again. Right. And that's when I went to school and got a master's degree. That's what I did. And I finally said to myself that I'm not gonna travel this road like this again. But I never ever lost my passion.
Right.
I just did a job last night. I'll be performing this Friday night. I've got several jobs, and for some reason, no matter, I don't care if I probably become a billionaire, some part of me will always wake up to something I'm doing musically too, man, because it's innate, it's intrinsic, it's inherent in me. My mom walked around singing all the time, singing in the choirs. My sister Ruby Baker was our lead singer at 12 years old, man. I don't think I ever shared that with you. No. I was 16 years old, playing in nightclubs. We owned a nightclub in Tampa called the Dollhouse. And my sister Ruby Baker, who went on to just become the premier vocalist here in South Florida. Wow. I don't know too many singers. They bring you down from Jersey, buy you a BMW, buy all your clothes for the stage. You remember September's?
Mhm.
You remember the Club September's over Oakland Park and US1? You a little,
Uh-huh.
you know, you can't, cause that's way
It sounds familiar.
yeah. But I'll tell you what, it was the mainstay Las Vegas type club in South Florida, and Ruby Baker got the house job. I,
Wow,
I
wow,
brought my
wow.
sister
Yeah, I know
here.
that
I
name, Ruby
showcased
Baker.
her to all of the
Wow.
agencies, you know. And the point I'm making to everyone who's watching us tonight, Jerry, you still doing music because you love it. Jerry, you're an
Mhm.
administrator, but you're still doing your music. You're still dealing in that arena. You're still an entrepreneur. You're still utilizing your intellectual property to generate revenue. You are monetizing your passion. And on my Thursday night masterclass, I try to get people to find the common denominator, find
Mhm.
that place where passion and purpose and
Yeah,
possibility intersect.
yeah.
They intersect. They become your system. They become your blueprint. And when you get, see, I tell them all the time, I'm a young little lucky sucker. My brother gave me a trumpet at 12 years old. My brother went to FAMU when I was 6. He was 18. I thank God for my brother to this day, my brother, because I didn't know who my dad was, but I had a father figure.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
know in what you're doing and the way these kids are looking up to you and in the arena that you're in, I'm sure I can applaud you because I know how powerful you've been because like I told you when I met your son, I was just so proud to hear where, you don't meet too many kids anchored about exactly where they want to go, what they want to do, how they want to get there, and say, my dad is kind of lined up this and my dad is lined up that. And I say, wow, man, God bless you, Jerry Nelson, for what you're doing, because it's incredible. And the fact that, you still have the things that you're doing out here on this entrepreneurial track. So the fact that you play bass like I do, your faith base, you got all these things going on in your world that you anchored yourself and you've never stepped back. And you told me you never taught in a public school. Everything you've been doing, So did you do any religious recording or are there recordings in the gospel sector at all?
No, no. All we
I
did
can't
was
believe it. Shut up. Wait
yeah,
a
yeah.
minute.
It
Wait,
was
no,
all
no, wait, hold it. You're trying to tell me 20 years in the church ministry, all this jazz stuff you're doing. I'm just kidding. I can't believe though. I thought
well.
you
Well, here's the interesting story. Here's how I actually got the band formed. My pastor was a musician as well,
uh-huh.
and so he wanted something that was new. I went to a very multicultural church, but he wanted something that was new and interesting. And so there was a whole bunch of us who were jazz musicians, and so we took the old hymns and we rewrote them, and we basically did it in a jazz type style. And so
Oh,
we did that for several years, and that's how
okay.
our band spun out of that. And so we would play regularly in church, and then our
Nice.
band spun out of that. And so yeah, even when we would play out and play events, we would mix in a couple of reharmonized hymns and stuff like
Nice.
that. So yeah, yeah. So nothing original, but
Right.
it would always be some type of reharmonization of some hymns or something like that.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, I'm just so honored, sir, that you would stop your very demanding schedule, being in that position as head of the school and what you're doing there, and then sharing with us the capacity of the organization, and your reach, the global reach. That's when I saw Christian Schools International. I said, well, what, Jerry never told me nothing. But you walk around me like you everyday people. And you know the funny thing about your situation? Here we go. The same thing. The same way that I met you like this through another musician, got my job at West Providence High School through a musician who
Look at that.
hired me as a singer on his gig.
Yeah.
Claude Remy. His name is Claude Remy. Shout out to you, brother. I don't know where you are now. Because I did 16 years at Flanagan High,
Mhm.
7 years there as cross country coach. In those years there, in those 16 years, one of those decades, I ran 20 marathons in one decade.
Wow,
I was
wow.
cross country coach for the girls. I loved it so much, man. It was just integral part of me, man. I just stayed in that loop with it, and I just love what I was doing with it, man. And it just became a part of me, man. So I'm here to tell you, man, that it's just sharing this with me tonight and all the things that you're doing. I applaud you, man. I'm so proud of you. I'm not exaggerating that because, when I met Claude like that, and him and I would do gigs, and it never came up. And we sitting around on a break, man. And he said, I'm in human resources for the school board. I set up like I'm leaning in. I said, what? I said, man, I've been at this school 16 years. The walls closing in. I showed up in a new Mercedes one day, and they started looking at me sideways. And Rachel's song had went #1 in Billboard. We had a #1 single Billboard with Rachel Brown, and and we were elevating. I'll never forget. I brought her to the school to do a concert with me, man, and put up a little poster telling all the kids about it. I don't even want to get into it because it brings up the kind of spirit that the enemy wants me to bring up. They wrote the posters down. They didn't want me to do it, and even my last time of doing that program, I call it personal empowerment recognition, man. They stopped me from doing the program, and within a week, guess who called me? And I was doing the program free over at that school. And Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, unfortunately, who's very popular for reasons I hate to even mention because they just had an anniversary of it. Marjorie Stoneman Douglas called me and paid me.
Wow.
And see, that's my point. And here's what I'm trying to share with everyone. When you're passionate about something like I know you are and I know I am, that's your purpose. And then nothing in the external world going to stop your internal blueprint, your internal system. One of my mentors said this system says, save yourself time, energy, and money. James Melanchak. And ever since he said that, when you get a system that revolves around your passion and purpose, knock, knock, knock. Come on, Jerry. The universe will always give you possibilities. Absolutely. I call it my P3 theory. So I think I answered almost and got answers. I don't know if it's anything here that I let slip past me that I don't want to let slip, especially about your music. How do we reach you as far as what you're doing as a CEO? What's on the horizon for you? Oh, I know what I meant to mention. You put in your bio about jazz over here in the Pines. You in the city of Pembroke Pines, my hometown, started the jazz series. Talk to us. How did that come about? And then are they still doing it? I know it stopped with COVID and all that. Did you ever reactivate it? Is it happening or is it on the horizons again?
Yeah. So I partnered with them several years ago. That's pretty much how I got my start into sound, working with the city of Pembroke Pines. So shout out to Francie and Holly and the crew over there at City of Pines family.
Yes. I met Francine.
Yeah. Just great people. So I continue to work with the City of Pines. Last year, I put in the bio that they gave me an opportunity to produce the Savor the Sound series.
Okay.
And so that's actually on my website. You can see all the different bands that we work
give
with.
Me a shout out. Give everybody a shout out. Give me the shout out for your website for Element Music Group. Give me a shout out for the Christian school. Please, man, because I can't believe we I'm at an hour with you and it's scary, man.
No problem.
It's like a blink. But go ahead. How about those? How do we reach you? How do we get those things that will allow someone to make, if they want something from you audio, they want something from you from a Christian base, talk to me. Let me know what's up out there. Let everyone know.
Yeah. So elementsmusicgroup.com. So that's elements with an S, musicgroup.com. It has all of our services there. You can contact me there. You can see all the stuff that we've done in the past. So one of our big goals, and I really love what you're doing. Our big goal is we do want to become the leading producer of jazz, blues, and folk music in South Florida. So we just continue to lay the foundation for that. A lot of things are falling in place, for us. And so that's on the music side of things.
Before you leave music and speak about the ACSI, are you then, the way you the verbiage you use, it sounds to me, are you concert promoting? Are you other than your audio systems and stuff? Are you guys like somewhat of concert producers now? Are you putting on those type of shows?
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, that can be a whole nother podcast. Just being in the industry. You talked about systems. One of the things that I studied is how the money flows within the industry. And
Mm-hmm.
so I've pivoted maybe about 3 or 4 times. And where I realize it's a passion, it matches with just my skill set that I've developed on the administrative side of school. A lot of it's just transferable. I find it's concert promoting it's like running a school.
Oh,
It's,
no, no. Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so the big thing is, yeah, concert promoting. I actually have a roster that I've worked with already. So the big thing that we're looking for is we're looking for folks who want to come along and help produce a series. We literally can do everything turnkey. We do all the live streaming, all the sound, all the artist promotion, all of that staging. So literally where we are right now is we're just looking for partners who want to produce what I would call a series that's reflective of South Florida, like the diversity of music, the
Mm.
diversity of people. So I don't just focus on just one genre. We do rock, we do folk, we do blues, we do Latin,
Right.
we do soca. That's reflective of South Florida. And
Mm-hmm.
so
That's
I
right.
try and bring that
Multicultural, no
together.
doubt.
It's
Yes, sir.
multicultural. So and it's live music too. And so
Um,
these
I may be a
folks.
little bit over the top right here, man. My brother, I'm gonna keep this clap going. I want y'all to know over there, man. Go watch this episode and get up on top of what Jerry Nelson is doing from an entrepreneur perspective, from the fact that he has been able to monetize. Use the word pivot several times here, Jerry. And I'm just gonna leave it over there, and tell you like this, man. You keep doing what you're doing. I know that at one point you and I were talking about, and we'll talk about. I know you introduced this to me. I remember when you called me and you discussed everything about it, and you went ahead and did that show. Let me tell you something. I know in this lifetime we are going to produce some shows. I'm just going to say that
I
it may take
appreciate
me
that.
another
That'd
year
be
or two
great.
to just level off and just like you say. But when I got somebody already anchored, like you say, is use that keyword turnkey. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I don't have to reinvent the wheel. Just I know it's bringing the money to the table, and because you know something, man. Post-COVID, people are coming out of the doors now. People are
Yeah.
going to concerts. People are loving music all over again. Matter of fact, my sister gave me tickets to see John Baptiste up at the Eckerd Music Hall. I don't know if you're familiar with it up there in the Tampa Bay, Clearwater area.
Yep.
And he's on that little a smaller room circuit. And
Yeah.
I thought about it. I said, ever since he left the Tonight Show, and started doing his thing, man. And boy, let me tell you, phenomenal talent.
Mm-hmm.
He might be one of the ones you just might want to contact about. Telling you, man, he probably already been through here, but to get him on a return or something,
Yeah.
boy, that New Orleans flavor and what he's doing, and multi-talented guy.
Yeah.
So, you know, it was excellent. So, Jerry, I always wrap him up around an hour, and we right at an hour, man. I just really want to say, man, I'm just so honored that you came in and shared your life story with us. You know, the apples are not falling far from the trees. Being you wonderful son. I've never met your wife, your family, and I know that we
got to make that happen, man. We got to make that happen.
No. If it's just a dinner or lunch or something, it would be great just to connect, man. And I'm going to put you in touch with my minister, man, because for what you're doing in your ministry and what y'all are doing, you all got almost a feeder system to being able to be anchored correctly out here in this universe. Because let me tell you something, man, there's a large cohort, a large demographic who are just oblivious to growing from this mind, body, and spirit concept. Yeah. You've been an athlete. You've developed your cognitive abilities. You've always been anchored in truth around your faith. And guess what, Jared? You're a walking example. You're a walking example. And the fact that, you know, this guy's name is Simon T. Bailey. I highly advise this book every week when it comes up. Shift Your Brilliance. And he made a quote that in my relationship series that I'm doing right now, relationships will always be the new currency.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. I agree.
I'm telling you, and the way you spoke about your minister, the way you came home on a winter break, and he said, Jerry, I want you to come in here. You didn't even have to go out there in the job market. You didn't have to look around and look how long you've been anchored there, man. Almost 2 decades of your life. So, I mean, you, my friend, are just an example that it works if you work it. You're an example of the reality that we all need this paradigm shift, man. I really feel this in my heart. That's why I think when I finally decided to start teaching, I said, I still feel there's a voice in me that wants to be heard. I wouldn't be sitting on this show tonight. I just wouldn't. I could have just took my retirement, took my pension, lay back and just keep playing my little music. But something inside of me said, man, dust them books off, get back out there, speak to your voice that's there and let people know what's going on. So until we can connect again, my friend, I started with music because we're musicians, and I'm going to reach over to this little corner I got and I'm going to click it back on. And I'm going to say once again, ladies and gentlemen, the man himself, Jerry Nelson, Association for Christian Schools International, CEO, Element Music Group. I got it right this time. He is one of the, few people I can just say, wow, to. You are an amazing human being, man. And you know something? If you watch that little video I made for social media, right after I said Jerry Nelson, I said it to him. This is an amazing human being. And I knew hardly anything about you in this capacity. So till the next time, give the shout out to the Christian school. Is there a website? Shout it out there for me. Matter of fact, I'm gonna do this respectfully because that's important. I didn't want to stay away from the music and go back. Once we left that, I want to leave it. Please give us the contacts. Tell them how they can reach your organization. Tell them if there's a general 800 number or a website. Please, because what you guys are doing, you're obviously international strong. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to say it once again, 5.5 million kids, 7 or 8 countries, 5 states around the United States. Tell them how to get in touch with your organization, please.
Yeah, so acsi.org, acsi.org. And then I actually have a podcast called Grafted Together. So you can type in Grafted Together, Jerry Nelson. And so you can hear all the interviews that I'm doing with leaders literally around the world.
How often are you airing your podcast?
Say it again.
How often are you airing and running your podcast?
Yeah, so I've I've been doing my podcast for 2 years, but we've been releasing episodes 2 to 3 times a week.
Nice.
So yeah, we're kicking it up.
I'll wait for your invite. I ain't going to invite myself. I'll just wait. I'll just wait, ladies and gentlemen. See if you feel I'm worthy enough. Can I stand in the arena? Who and what kind of people they? Seriously, I'd love to come on your show, man.
Cool, great.
Do it, but like I said, man, you opening up all these things that I had no idea. So now, what is that podcast called? Once again, to clearly understand it.
Yeah, Grafted Together.
What is it again?
Grafted.
Grafted Together.
Yeah, Grafted Together.
Spell that.
So GRAFTED and then together. So Grafted Together. Yep. Looking
forward to it. Like I said, my man, you keep doing what you're doing. If I could ever be of any assistance in that endeavor, I want a phone call away. I want to look forward to the day that we can produce some concerts. Like you said, be they rock, pop, gospel, Latin, whatever, because I love what you're doing, man. And it's like they say, relationships will always be the true currency. I love you, my brother. And as George Walker said, there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to end this one because of what we've been talking about tonight. Put this back on and say, hey, you got to keep God first. And if you find a man like Jerry Nelson, his organization, what they're doing, they can do it for you. So till next time, my friends, God be with you, bro. Let me end the screen. Hang in there with me a minute.